life changing money. It really isn't. It doesn't take like well, of course, we all want millions, tens of millions of dollars. That whole thing of like, once when we were little kids, I was like, yeah, if I have $1 million, I'm rich. Well, yeah, when I was a little kid, I would have been rich for sure. $1 million in the 90s, $1 million did go far. You could literally buy, I think my parents' house tops was like, and they bought it in the early 2000, like 2001 or 2000, was like $200,000 for their house. $200,000 and 7% interest rate, because the interest rates were higher back then. They were still going to zero basically at the time. Shout out to Greenspan, the Greenspan put. But if you look at it, right, like my parents could have bought. Imagine like my parents had $1 million. They could have bought their house cash, bought some nice cars, put some money away from an investment, bought an investment property. My dad was being offered at the time. He just didn't have the money. They were offering him a 16-plex for like dirt cheap. He could have bought that. And this is what I'm saying. Just that little bit of money it doesn't take a crazy amount of money to start changing your life. Like a lot of us just need the opportunity to like get the lick of capital to do stuff. And this is why when we say return on flex, the reason we're doing that webinar specifically is to not only like not discourage, but more or less just really like, hey, if you're going to do it smartly, but at the same time, really make sure that you're like getting used to money and then you make good decisions. Invest first before you fuck off money, And we're like, I know we like sometimes. I mean, like shit. I'm literally thinking about getting a Lambo, but it's really just for marketing purposes. Really, like, I mean, if I'm being honest and stuff, it's much like money's much better served just buying a real estate property and stuff like this, or doing something smart with it. But we have to. This is why we're trying to tell you and teach you guys this stuff because you follow other guys and they'll eventually lead you into degeneracy, basically.
Yeah. I've heard some, comments that are like, that's not that bright. Some people have said, not in this chat or anything, right? But I've heard people say this before, about like investing in crypto, they're like, well, if I only invest like, a few $100s or whatever, it doesn't really matter. So you shouldn't invest in crypto at all until like you got like 6 figures or some bullshit like that. I'm like, what? Like, no,
you'll never start. You'll never fucking start. What does that mean?
Well, and you'll never learn anything. By the time you get to $100,000, you put that in the market, you'll lose it all because you don't know what the hell you're doing, right? You didn't practice, when you had less to lose.
Right. It's freaking